All right, ladies and gentlemen, today what we are going to do is I'm going to review a couple of the problems. Since I couldn't be there with you today, I wanted to do some model problems for you so you know what's expected on the Module 2 review. The test for Module 2 will be next week, Tuesday. That's 9/19/17. So let's go ahead and look at number 6. It says, given triangle ABC, these are the coordinates. We're going to reflect it over the y-axis. Okay, to yield the new. So we want to know the coordinates of ABC. Well, the first thing I need to know is what is the rule when I reflect over the y-axis? And I know that the y is going to stay the same and the x is going to change. So you can use the grid paper at the bottom and actually draw the picture if you want to, but I'm just going to apply the rule. So I know that a prime is going to be at -4, -2, and the x is going to change. So it's going to become +4, +2. B prime was originally at -1, 3. The x is going to change sign, so it's now going to be at +1, 3. And coordinate C prime was at 2, -3. And then I know that the x is going to change to -2, -3. And that's all you needed to do for number 6. All right, let's look at number 8. Here's an example where you actually do have to draw on the grid. It says, given A, B, and C, we're going to translate it up 2 units. So this is going to affect, that's y plus 2. And 3 units to the right is x plus 3. So I'm going to draw this on the coordinate plane. So first of all, I'm going to start at -4, -2. And I'm going to label this point A. -1, 3, this is point B. Point C is at 2, -3. That's point C. So this is my triangle. Now I'm going to translate each of these points up, 2, and to the right, 3. And so how I would write that rule is x plus 3, comma, y plus 2. That's a translation. So I'm going to take this point right here. I'm going to go up 2, 1, 2, to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to label this A prime. B is going to go up 2 and to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. B prime. And C is going to go up 2 and to the right 3, C prime. Notice when I make my translation, it just looks like the original figure. All the coordinates are in the same position. It just slid. So the rule is right here. So this is B. This is A, and that's all I need you to do. This is number 9. We're not going to do that one at this time. You get to go ahead and try that one on your own. All right, questions about number 8? You should ask me when I get back. Number 10, given the polygon K, L, and M, we're going to dilate. So remember, dilation, you should be thinking of multiplication or division. And the scale factor is 1/2. So that means that our original figure is going to get shrunk down. This is going to be a reduction. Reductions are if the scale factor is less than 1. And enlargement is when the scale factor is greater than 1. Okay? So what are the new coordinates is the question. So all I have to do is take each one of these coordinate points, K, L, M, and N, and multiply them by 1/2. So K was originally at -5, -4. K prime is now going to be at half of 5 is what, -2.5? And half of -4 is -2. That's my new coordinate point for K. L was at -7, 7. So L prime is going to be at negative, I believe it's 3.5, 3.5. M was at 4, 6. Oh, this one's nice because it's an even number, so I know I'm not going to end up with a decimal on this one. Half of 4 is 2, and half of 6 is 3. And then N, we're at 6, -6. So I'm going to divide those by 2 because it said 1/2. And so that should be at 3, -3. All right, let's try a couple more. Let's do number 12. It says, given triangle ABC, where A is -5, -3, B is -3, 5, and C is at -2, 2. Okay, so this time we're rotating the figure 90 degrees counterclockwise. So you're probably going to want to look up that rule and apply it to the coordinates, or there's a coordinate grid down at the bottom of the page that you can use to actually graph it. Or there's patty paper on that front table right next to where you sign out to go to the bathroom. If you want to use patty paper, you may use that as well. So you decide how you're going to solve this problem. The way I'm going to show you is using the rule, because to me that's the easiest way to do it. So 90 degrees counterclockwise. Again, counterclockwise is a turn to the left. So in 90-degree weather, we wear flip-flops. So I know y is going to come first, and then x, and the y is going to go negative because it's the one on the left. So I'm going to look at coordinate A here, and I know the -3 is going to come first, and then -5 because I'm flip-flopping them, and then this one becomes positive. For B prime, I look back at my coordinates here, and I know the -5 is going to come first, and then -3, and the -5 is going to become positive. And then for C prime, they're going to flip-flop. -2, -2. This one it didn't matter because they're both the same number, but I know the one on the left is going to become positive. So these would be my new coordinates for a 90-degree counterclockwise turn. And remember, 90-degree weather, you wear flip-flops. Okay, there is going to be a question like this on the test where you're going to see several different pictures, and then you're going to have to answer some questions related to them. So the first thing we're going to look at is number 1, where it says, what is the relationship between A and B? So what you're going to want to look for is first the orientation of the picture. And I noticed that the piece of fruit is in the same spot on both pictures. And so I'm going to say that this is just simply a slide. And you can write slide, and the proper term for that is a translation. Okay. Number 2 says, what is the relationship between B and C? And so what I can see is I can see that B clearly flipped over, and it looks like it flipped over this line right here. So if I drew that line right there, it looks to me like that is a reflection. And it's only asking for the relationship, so I could just write reflection. But if you want to go beyond, which is awesome, I could say that this right here is going to be reflection across the y equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So reflection y equals 5. Okay, so now we're going to look at C and D. Now this one clearly, this one could be a rotation. It's not going to be a translation. I can rule out translation because a translation would slide it, so this should be in the same spot. It could be a rotation of 180 degrees because it went from here. This would be 90 if it went to here, and this would be 90 if it went here. So it could be a rotation of 180 degrees. It's not going to be a reflection. And the reason I know it's not going to be a reflection is because in a reflection, the points have to be exactly opposite each other. And in this case, they're not going to be opposite each other. So let's go ahead and test some ideas out for this particular point. Let's use this point right here and this coordinate point. Let me pause this first. I'm stuck on the relationship between C and D for a second there, but as I looked at it, I realized that's because it's going to have to go through a couple of transformations. So one solution is that you could reflect it across the y-axis here. And so when you did that, you kind of have a shape, and I'm just going to kind of sketch it out. And then the orange slice would be here. And then to get it from there, you could then rotate it to get it to fit on shape D. So I would say that this would be a relationship between a reflection and then a rotation, and that would get you where you need to be. So, reflection plus a rotation. Okay. And then we're back to D and F. Clearly, if I drew a line right through here, I can see that there's definitely a reflection here. And you can notice that in the picture because it's exactly opposite each other. And if I wanted to define this line of reflection, I would look at this point, and I would notice that it's on the x-axis, and x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be a reflection of x equals 5. And then you can go ahead and look at the relationship you think between F and E, and the relationship between E and G. See if you can figure those out on your own. And good luck with the Module 2 review. We'll review again tomorrow on Friday when you have my class. And then next week, Monday, we'll do a little bit more review. And then you should be ready to ace the test on Tuesday. So I hope you all, I'll see you guys all on Friday. Have a great day.